This is the next video in a series of videos that describe how to compose units, how to specify their behavior. And in this video, we're going to talk about how to direct a unit to move in formation. It's important to understand that the way that a unit can move is determined by the platform that's attached to the unit. So what I'm saying in this video, what I'm describing in this video, would not apply to other types of platform models. It's only if the particular platform model itself has the ability to move in formation, and that's determined by the person who developed the platform model. And it then would require a cognition model, a driver of the model that would know how to direct a unit to move in formation. So platforms in the starter models can move in a lot of different ways. They can move on a road. They can they can do pathfinding is for ground vehicles and move on a road. They can move in corridors in the air. They can fly and engage targets. There's just lots of different ways that platform models can move, and none of this is determined by Flames. It's all determined by the platform models themselves and how the developers chose to implement those platform models. The particular platform model that we're using right here, the one that we have attached to this unit, the FEX ground vehicle model, only has two ways to move. It can move to a waypoint, off-road to a waypoint, and it can actually move in formation. So we wanted to give a little bit of extra complexity in this model, even though it's just a tutorial model, primarily because we wanted to be able to talk about formation objects. And so we went ahead and implemented formation movement, even though it's a little bit more complicated, as a way of giving you a little bit more exposure to different ways that platforms can move. So again, this particular model can move in formation. Another model that you're using may not be able to. But given that, we're going to go ahead and proceed with the capabilities of this model. So in order to move in formation, we have to have multiple units. So I'm going to take this unit, and we're going to let this guy be the formation leader, and we're going to create two other units that follow this guy. We're going to call it -1 and -2. So right now they are exact copies of each other. They have the exact same commands, and each of them are moving to the same waypoint, so they're actually right on top of each other. We're going to add some additional information to this particular unit so that it will be able to lead a formation. And in order to do that, we need to specify the formation that this particular unit is going to lead. So we're going to go to the command window, and we're going to do this command called use formation. So this allows us to specify the formation of the units that are going to be following this unit. So with that, I have to actually specify the name of a formation, and we use the same approach for that. We'll use the browse button, and we happen to have a formation object defined in this scenario. So I'm going to double click on that, and it puts that in there. So now when other units follow this particular unit, they will follow in this formation. So let's go take a look at that formation. I can go to the formations by going to my parameters, attributes, formations, and open up the formations window. Or I can do like I oftentimes do. I can look at this little view button, and it'll automatically open the formations window for me and take me right to the object that specifies the formation. So this formation specifies, very simple. It specifies an X offset and a Y offset. The X offset is along the axis of the vehicle. So this means 8 meters behind the vehicle, and the Y offset specifies the offset to the left or to the right. And the way this particular formation works, the first 2 units get specified at this distance behind the unit, and then the first unit will be to the right or the other, and then the next unit will be to the left, or vice versa. I'm not sure which direction it goes. And then when the third unit gets attached, it'll be 8 meters farther back, and there'll be another 4 meters offset. So you'll see that as we specify units to move in formation. This formation class, like most of the other classes that are associated with Flames, this is something that is not part of Flames. Flames defines the basic formation class, but there are no specific formation classes in Flames. This is implemented in the tutorial component set of classes, and so the source code to this formation is available and it can be modified. And in the starter models, there are some other formations that are used, and so you can see the source code for that too. So this is fully available for you to customize and however you want. So I'm going to close this window, and we're going to go over back to our units, and we're going to change the definition now of blue shooter number 1. We're going to remove these 2 move commands, and we're going to actually remove this command as well, and we're going to insert another command here called locate information. So this command requires us to specify who it is that we want to follow. So we just go right here and double click on it and click, and it picks the blue shooter as our leader. And when I hit accept, and then I'll I need it put it after the start statement, so I'm going to move it up there and I'll hit accept. And so now we should see the this guy slightly offset. So there he is. So he's 8 meters back and 4 meters to the right. And then I'm going to go to this other guy right here and basically do the same thing. So I'm going to add the locate information command. And this time, instead of double clicking and picking it, I'm going to use another technique. I can just pick it, do this, and it gives me a way to select it, and I'll pick the blue shooter. So there's that. Then he's now there, and he's 4 meters to the left. And I'll click on this locate statement, and I will remove it. And I'm going to remove these 2 move commands. So I can locate somebody information, and I can actually cause them to move information. At this point, I've just located them information. And one of the nice things about that is if I edit the leader and I move the leader somewhere else, the other units stay with the leader. So it's a real convenient way to define a group of units and have them move together. And in fact, if I change the heading of this guy, it'll automatically reorient the units after it information. And again, this is not default Flames behavior. This is the behavior of the platform model and the formation model that is attached. It's fully customizable. You can get the source code for all this out of the Flames source code repositories. This locates these units information, but I don't have a move command. So if I start this scenario and they start and let it run, those followers are not going to move. So the leader takes off, but the followers are not moving. And that's because I haven't given them a move command. But I'm going to add that now. I'm going to go here and I'm going to add a command. I'm going to add the move information command. And I can specify the name of the leader if for some reason it's different from the leader that I was following. So if I want to change and follow a different leader, I could do that. But if it's the same leader that I'm already associated with in a formation, I don't need to specify it. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to accept. And then when I'm going to add a command here for this guy to have him move in formation. Also, one point I mentioned before, I want to mention this again. Most changes that you make with the command editor are accepted immediately. So if I move someone, or if changes that I do with the mouse, they're accepted immediately. values that I specified by the keyboard do not get accepted until I hit the accept button. And when I add a new command, it is not accepted until I hit the accept button. So it gives me a chance to specify the inputs that are needed for that command before it gets accepted, so I don't get an error message popping up. We saw that with the locate information command. When I added that command here, I did a locate information. It actually just copied something. Let me remove both of those commands. And I'll add this command, and it's locate information. This command requires leader to be specified. And if I accepted that additional command immediately right after I added it, I'd get this error message. It would come up right away and say, hey, you didn't give me a leader. So that's why we don't accept that command. When we add commands, we don't do an automatic accept. We just in case a value is necessary. So I can go ahead and specify that value, and the specifying of that value will cause the accept to happen. So you can see right there that this blue shooter was updated. So you can add the command, it doesn't accept it, but as soon as you make a change with the mouse to specify an input, then the command is accepted. So that's just an important thing to note. If I go to I'm going to take this command off. I'm going to take this move information. I'm going to remove it. And I'm going to add the command again, move information. And then without accepting, I'm going to go to another command, another unit. You see that command disappeared. It's because I went to another unit without hitting accept. See, that's something you just have to keep in mind. When you add a command, if you don't do another edit after that with your mouse, you need to make sure you manually accept it. So there's my move information. So I'll hit accept, and now when this scenario runs, those guys stay behind the leader. And you can see it's not a very intelligent movement. When they move, they just kind of immediately, well, it happens so fast we didn't get a chance to see it, but you can go more slowly and see how they move. When the leader turns, the followers don't do a real graceful turn with it sometimes. But we didn't try to make it real sophisticated. We kept it really simple. And so and again, it's not a limitation of Flames. It's just the way that this particular model has things implemented. So there's formation movement. Now I'm going to delete these commands and delete these units because I'm not going to use formation movement in the successive videos here. But I wanted to take a little bit of a detour and talk about formation movement, primarily just so I could talk about the formation objects, these attributes right here. We've already talked about formation. We've already talked about icons and signatures. So I wanted to let you know that this ground vehicle model also supports formation movement. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these two units. I'm going to, because again, we don't need them for the rest of these videos. So I'll go back to this guy, and since he's not going to lead a formation, I can take that command off of there. So we're back to where we were. And there is one thing I want to show you, though, before I leave. It's related to movement. We're using this locate statement. And when I'm in command edit mode, I specify the heading. So if I have the heading here like this, and then as soon as I start moving, he has to immediately kind of do a jerk and get lined up with that first waypoint. There's another command here that I can use instead of this command that makes it so that I don't have to specify the heading. And that command is the locate en route command. So if I'm going to add that command here, and I have to specify an initial speed, which the initial speed can be 0. It doesn't have to be start out with movement. But I'm going to accept that, and then I'm going to delete this locate command. I'm sorry. Let's click here and delete it. So now I've got this unit right here. And it actually moved it to be an offset from its first waypoint. So I'm going to edit this guy, and I'll put him back down here again. So this is very similar to a locate command, except that it automatically specifies the heading. I don't have to specify heading. And if you want the unit to enter the scenario and already be moving as soon as the scenario starts, you can give it an initial speed. We don't usually do that for ground vehicles, but the fixed wing airplane and the starter models, we oftentimes will start a scenario with the airplane already in the air. So we'll use a variation of this locate en route command to have the airplane already have a speed as soon as the scenario starts, because it's starting in the air. The nice thing about this command is if I move this waypoint, it automatically changes the heading. So we oftentimes will use the locate en route command. You shouldn't use that command if you don't have a waypoint, because the locate en route command is looking for the first waypoint, and it automatically sets the heading to make it align with that first waypoint. So if you don't have a waypoint, you need to use the locate command. Now, once again, I said this before, I want to repeat this. All of these commands come from the cognition model. They're all commands that are in this ground vehicle model. So none of these commands, none of this behavior comes from Flames. It all comes from that ground vehicle model, and then the cognition model that is designed to work with that ground vehicle model. It's often the case that a particular ground vehicle is designed to work with a particular cognition model. And in fact, if normally there's an interface specified for a ground vehicle model, and if the cognition model expects the ground vehicle or the platform model to have that interface. So I'm going to show that to you. You've seen that in some other videos. We're going to take a little bit of a detour here. We're going to take this light truck, and I'm going to just comment it out. So I'm going to put a C++ style comment on it, and I'm going to hit accept. So look at the error message that I get. It says there's no platform employed that supports the ground vehicle platform interface. So error executing the locate en route command. So the command is defined by the cognition model, but the overall, this particular cognition model checks to make sure that the right platform model is attached, a platform model that supports an interface for the commands that the cognition model is going to be giving to that platform model. And so if the wrong platform model is attached, or there is no platform model that is attached that supports that interface, the cognition model barks. So if I don't know what I'm doing when I am composing this unit, and I put models on this unit in a combination that are not compatible, Flames, the models themselves in their configuration step, they will tell me, the end user, that you don't have the right combination of models on here, or the models that you put on here don't work well with each other or won't work with each other. So we'll see that in other models as well. The cognition models themselves are the ones that usually do that check, and we've talked about that in scenario configuration video earlier. So a little bit of a detour there, just to tell you a little bit more about how cognition models work with platform models, and again to reemphasize the fact that this behavior that we've been talking about, this comes from the particular models that are attached. You've got the source code to that, and we have much more complicated movement in the starter model, so you can see all the source code that you need to be able to enhance the movement if you'd like to do that. So that's a little bit more about how to move in formation and how to use a different form of the locate statement. So we're ready to now go look at other kinds of models, and I'm done with this video. So thanks for watching, and thanks for using Flames.